Crazy.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. Your brother, Yerad Maccabees.
It's your brother Hezekiah.
That's your brother Brian.
Yeah, man, we're going to give all honor, all glory, all praises to the Most High God, Yahweh, and his son, Yahweh Shah. That's the Most High God of Israel, and his son, Jesus the Christ. Want to give all double honors, right, to all the elders in this thing, House of David, been teaching for decades and decades, right? Double honors to all the men in this truth, leading their households, studying, fasting, praying, and applying these commandments. All the women in this truth, being dutiful wives, studying, fasting, praying, and being leaders in the household over the children and the sisters. I want to give a shout out to all the kids, sons and daughters in this truth, learning and growing up right in righteousness and sincerity. Shalom, Israel.
Big con on that. So we got Exhortation, Motivation, Volume 8, a bunch of current events. Let's get straight into it. And we got a preset right now.
Come.
We got the preset, right? Here you go, Jared. You're right.
The water, right? It's the book of Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small. So this is sound counsel, right, from the book of Sirach. The purpose is, in today's world, if you're ignorant of the prophecies unfolding, you're not going to know what's going on, right? Second Ezra 15 is going to be kicking off, and you're going to be the brother with your pants down. World War III is going to kick off, right? You haven't stocked up on waters. You haven't been praying, fasting, and applying, and you're going to be caught out there, man. So we need to not be ignorant, right? Great or small, because you know what? It's all leading up to our deliverance. Right? Anyone else got a preset?
Yeah, I'm about to bring it down. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21 in the GNT, starting at verse 34. Be careful not to let yourselves become occupied with too much feasting and drinking, right? And with the worries of this life, or that day may come suddenly catch you like a trap, the day of the Lord, right? Yahweh shall come back. For it will come upon all people everywhere on earth. Verse 36, be on watch and pray always. And that's what we bidding y'all to do, to be on watch and pray always. Watch out for these current events. Watch out for these prophecies unfolding. And we helping y'all out with this class. Read it on. That you will have the strength to go safely through all those things, Salakia, that will happen, and to stand before the Son of Man. Right? And that's my motivation for y'all right now. But we about to get it straight into it. I got you.
Right, we get into this first article. Right, this is the fourth eruption, because we've gone over this in prior classes. This is the fourth eruption that happened in Iceland, the fourth volcanic eruption. Imagine you living your life, man, and you're like, dang, that last volcano wasn't too bad. And the Lord sends a fourth volcano, man. It's judgment. Look at this. Play the video. Look at this.
That's not a good sign right there.
Right? Look at that.
That should go like Yellowstone Park.
It's gonna be worse than that. Right? And get into the next article, because you got volcanoes going off in Iceland, right? And look what you got going on in these old good old United States. Ohio governor declares state of emergency, right? Ohio Governor Mike DeWine has declared a state of emergency in 11 counties Sunday in wake of severe storms that struck state last week. Then you had hail. You had places hailing in America, right? Scroll down. So it's going down, man. This place is getting judgment. The governor also activated Ohio National Guard to clean up debris in Logan County, one of the hardest hit regions, where 3 people were killed by the storms. The declaration orders of all relevant state departments and agencies to lend their services, equipment, supplies, and personnel to aid in response and recovery efforts, the governor's office said. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. Right? Severe weather also damaged parts of Kentucky, Indiana, Arkansas. About 40 people were injured and dozens of homes damaged in one Indiana community. Tornadoes were also reported in Illinois and Missouri. So you got volcanic eruptions, right? You got tempests, lightning, and storms. And you got tornadoes, man. In Canada, recently, there was 2,000 earthquakes. 2,000 earthquakes in a day.
That's crazy.
You got to understand, man. Give me a Sirach 9 and verse 2. Right? We bring this out almost. We almost always start with this, but we're gonna bring it out every time because Israel, we are a stiff-necked nation. Right? Why do you think a lot of things in the Bible get repeated?
What? Salakia?
You there? 9
verse what?
Oh no, I'm sorry. 2nd Esdras. Excuse me.
All right.
2nd Esdras. I said Sirach. My bad.
No, you good, okay.
Right? Sirach 9 and verse 2. Right? Then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the earth which he made. And is it a pleasant thing when the Lord visits? Right? Give me that in Exodus 20. Right? Let's see what happened when he visited man. You know, did you see rainbows and lollipops? Right? Was there a band playing? Did he have cool theme song? Right? Exodus 20 and verse 18. Right? And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. So it's a very powerful thing for the Lord to visit the earth. And right now he's visiting the earth with plagues, with judgment. That is the purpose. It is all to get us to repent. Right? These are signs, wonders. Right? It's not and we're seeing these things ramp up more and more and more. Right? As we press closer to our deliverance, it's gonna get crazier. Right? It's gonna get crazier. Give me the next article. If any brothers doesn't have a precept.
No, I'm good. Lab leaks.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna touch on this for a little bit. Right? Because all right, it's gonna get crazy. Right? We went on this in I believe it was the first one we did, or the second exhortation we did, where we touched on the supposed disease X.
The DX. Right?
Oh, my bad. Select.
It's like getting
Select. No. It's all good, man. I know. I know what we're talking about, man.
X-Pac.
Right? The jab and X-Pac, man. If you know, right? This is from Irish Star. Virus leaks in dozens of U.S. labs could lead to next pandemic as experts worried. Right? Scroll down.
Yeah, it's in the U.S., huh?
Scroll down. Right? America suffers a startling high number of leaks at its top virus labs every year. So every year there's a leak. You got to understand, these people aren't just operating. You know, they're not in there playing operation, right? They're not in there with stethoscopes. No, they're in there with petri dishes, right? Experimenting on powerful viruses, making new viruses, because you have to understand there is something called biological warfare where they use diseases to wage war. We saw that happen with the when the Spaniards, when they came to the New World, right, giving the people smallpox blankets. That was an early version of biological warfare, but there's nothing new under the sun, right? It tells you in Daniel, knowledge shall be increased, right? Now they have labs, and guess what the Lord has that lab doing? Leaking, right? This has led to fears that the next pandemic could be sparked by one of these leaks, and calls for the number of experiments being carried out in these scientific facilities to be cut. Official data shows that there have been over 600 cases of controlled pathogens being released between 2014 and 2022. This is the equivalent of 70 to 100 annual viruses, which can include anthrax, Ebola, and tuberculosis. Do me a favor, can you look up the symptoms of anthrax, Ebola, and tuberculosis, Bubba Kashad?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Aren't all viruses man-made?
Not all viruses, but a number of them could be man-made.
Yeah, I heard all this. I read somewhere in the world of Scientology that every disease and every virus that has ever come to existence on this planet was man-made.
Nah, I mean, it's all of the Lord, because you have in Deuteronomy, he talks about the plagues of Egypt. You know, so we know it's not exactly man-made, but you know, you could take them and you can edit them. You know, you could take the what they do in science is they might take, like, you know, the genome of it, right, and combine it with something. It's called it's a process called zoonosis, where, like, you know, you could splice animal DNA with human DNA and you make a new disease. And these people are crazy, right? But symptoms of anthrax, right? Fever, chills, chest discomfort, shortness of breath, confusion, dizziness, cough, vomiting, right? Nausea, stomach pains, headache, sweats. This sounds vaguely like a disease that occurred in these past few years. Wink, wink, right? The symptoms of tuberculosis. Persistent cough that lasts more than 3 weeks and brings up phlegm, which may be bloody. Weight loss, night sweats, high temperature, tiredness, fatigue, loss of appetite, new swellings that have not gone away after a few weeks. Let's look at the symptoms for Ebola.
God damn.
Right? You got to understand right? Who we know is Jesus Christ. He isn't given the title of the Savior because when he comes, there's going to be peaches, sunshine, and rainbows. And, you know, there's going to be world peace. It's because there's going to be living hell on earth, right? Ebola symptoms, right? Fever, aches, pains, such as severe headache, muscle and joint pain, weakness, fatigue, sore throat, loss of appetite, gastrointestinal symptoms, right? You know, in your stomach and your intestines, right? Including abdominal pain, diarrhea, vomiting, unexplained hemorrhaging, bleeding, or bruising. Right? Let's go back to the article.
I got a precept, King. I'm sorry.
All praises.
This is the book of Jeremiah 21, verse 6. And I will smite the inhabitants of this city, or all cities throughout the world, both man and beast. They shall die of a great pestilence.
Right. While we there on the scripts, give me Revelation 6. 6 and 8. This is Esau's gift, man. This is Esau's gift. What man tinkers in the lab and just makes diseases?
He's the man of sin, man of perdition.
Right? He's death. That's who he is spiritually.
I heard one of their favorite animals that they use is the pig.
Yeah. Right? Revelation 6 and verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. So they're saying that wherever the white man goes, wherever Esau goes, hell follows with him, right? What happened to the Aborigines of Australia, right? Right? What happened to Gad when they came to America? Right? It's literally documented, even just their habits, right? Their eating habits, the sugar and all this other stuff. The native populations of those areas, when they came into contact, their birth rate went down, their health deteriorated. So these people it's hell following with them. And power was given. Oh, it's off the screen, King.
Slocky, my bad.
Good. Right? And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth. Right? The fourth part of the earth. Can you look up that book real quick? That's called the fourth part of the earth. Just to prove real quick that the fourth part of the earth is what you know is so-called America. Right? They have power over this section of the world. Right? The scholars understand what the Bible meant by the fourth part of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why he's getting that, right? To kill with sword, right? That's with weapons, with hunger. All right, there you go. The fourth part of the earth. Zoom in a little bit.
Yo, something wrong with my Zoom.
That's you know Satan, man.
Yo, this is crazy.
Hard. That's a hard-working man on the left-hand side.
Wow, son, this is crazy, son.
There's no way to manually zoom.
Yo,
Sugar cup of tea.
yo, this is crazy.
Right, bear with us, Israel.
It's a lot, King. There we go.
There it is.
This, man.
Right. So the fourth part of the world may refer to the new world. Right. The term new world is used to describe the majority of the lands of Earth's western hemisphere, particularly the Americas. Right. So go back to the script. Thank you, bro. Right. So the fourth part of the earth is the new world, aka the Americas. Right? And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, aka the Americas, right? That's where their seat of power is, to kill with sword, right? That's with weapons, right? The nuclear bombs, the hypersonic missiles, right? Their lasers, right? Their 50 caliber bullets and all this other wickedness, right? With hunger, right? Because they have power to sanction, right? Power over trade. They could stop food from coming to your area, right? Starve you out, lower your GDP, right? Tell you who you can and can't trade with, and with death, and with the beast of the earth. Now with that beast of the earth, that's going into the viruses, right? The death and the beast of the earth, because what they do is they create plagues, right? And it's through knowledge on the left-hand side, right? Let's prove that real quick. Can you pull up that definition, zoonosis?
Oh yeah, you want to spare? I was just thinking of that.
Come
on,
because this is it, right? Right. So zoonosis, right, is an infectious disease of humans caused by a pathogen, right? A virus, bacteria, a fungus, right? A prion. There's many types of germs and things that they could use, right? An infectious agent such as bacterium, right? Parasite or prion that can jump from a non-human, right, to a human and vice versa. Modern diseases such as Ebola virus disease and
diarrhea,
right, and salmonellosis are zoonoses, right? HIV was a zoonotic disease transmitted to humans in the early part of the 20th century, though it has now evolved into a separate human-only disease, right? And I'm not gonna do we got time to get into it again? I don't want to harp on it too long, but we went over you can watch the old video, right? Where I go over, right, when they talk about the C minus 20, right, virus. Right, there was talks about how in Wuhan, China, right, they were literally using the human genome and splicing it with mice, right? I might just have to pull that up again, right? Give me a second. Go back to the article. Right, bear with me.
Ooh, you got me over here preparing. I'm over here riding this bicycle. Just in case.
Yeah, man. Don't worry, man. We got the Lord with us, man. So long as we, study, pray, and apply, man.
That's it.
That's all it is. Bear with me. I'm getting it right now. Nice. All right, I'm sending it to you right now. Right, it's not the same thing, but just to prove that this is what they do. Right, they do wicked Frankenstein experiments. Right, I sent it to the email. Right, they do wicked Frankenstein experiments, man. Right, and this is what they like to do. Like it tells you on 2 Thessalonians, man. They think they're in the seat of God. They think they could toil with life and death, right, and play with God's creations.
Ain't that what they was doing with all them that Greek mythology with all the monsters back then? The half man, half horse.
Yeah, that's what
the Minotaur.
Yeah, the Minotaur. Yeah. But the Minotaur, that it all stems from Babylon, but that they are known for that. They always want to combine the animal and the human because they look at the animals as types of gods, and it's just folly, man. Mm-hmm. Right. So look at this. First, mice engineered to survive, right? C19 are like young, healthy humans. So pay attention. First, mice engineered, meaning created. Right? Let's get into the article real quick, right? Just the
GMO.
Right? So researchers have genetically engineered first mice that get human-like form of C19, according to study. Right? Led by researchers from NYU Grossman School of Medicine, the new work created lab mice with human genetic material for ACE2, right? A protein snagged by the pandemic virus so they could attach to human cells as part of the infection. The mice with this genetic change developed symptoms similar to those of humans infected with the viruses, causing what it says there, instead of dying upon infection, right? And we went into it prior. Some of these, it developed into something worse, right? It developed into something worse. We went into it in the other class with the Esau doctor on Rumble. But the point being is, why would you be working on this if you didn't? And they'll tell you, oh, it's for medicine, so we could, find out better things. But you know what, man? This is part of why Ukraine and Russia, went after Ukraine after finding out that in Ukraine there was U.S. biolabs there.
Sir, yes, sir.
So guess what, man? This is a form of warfare, right? Let's get back to the original article, man. Zion's Elite Laboratory, man.
Zion's Elite Laboratory, you heard?
Through the Spirit of the Lord, man, we touch on all things, man. Be not ignorant in any matter. Right?
I think we this paragraph right here.
Yes. So at least 2 workers have been infected after these release events. One employee was infected with chikungunya, which is a mosquito-borne virus, while another contracted Q fever, which is a bacterial infection, though no deaths were reported. Now, you got to understand why. And it's not to say, maybe there were. I don't want to bear false witness, right? But I'm led to believe there might have been deaths, right? Because if you report that we're incompetent and we have lab leaks, you know what happens? Your funding gets pulled. Right? It's just like if you were at work and you keep messing up on the line, well, you got to get fired. Right? Many of the release events can be attributed to scientists spilling the contents of test tubes, the incorrect wearing of safety equipment, and bites and scratches from animals who are carriers of diseases and viruses. Right? These incidents raise the risk of virus or diseases spreading onto community at large, where their release can trigger the next pandemic. Other ways in which potentially deadly pathogens were released was poor practice, such as dumping infected monkey blood down a plug hole. So this is it, man. They're trying to engineer the next event. Why do you think if you look at the World Health Organization, right? You look at the treaties they passed, right, where they could institute martial law, right, and take over countries, right, depending on, they could choose what's a pandemic. So you best believe, man, these plagues are visiting on the earth. In fact, can we get that in where's that in second Esdras? Is that 15?
The plagues visiting on the, you can't hold back the plague, something like that. What you want? What is that?
Bear with me.
Plagues are sent onto you, and what is he that may drive them away?
Yes. Yes. Is it in 16?
16 and 5.
Yes, there you go. I want that, and then give me drop down to 18 next. But book of second Esdras, chapter 16 and verse 5. Plagues are sent onto you, and what is he that may drive them away? Right? Go to the next script. Just go down, man. I love second Esdras, man.
Keep going, or go to verse 18.
Keep going. Then I'm gonna jump down to 18.
All right.
Right? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Right? Because it's the Lord sending this thing. It is the Lord sending this thing. Right? It's not. Give me verse 8. Give me verse 8. Verse 8 is really the point. I don't even need nothing else after that.
Verse 8.
Right? Just because I want to get to the rest of the stuff. Right? The second Esdras 16 verse 8. This is what I was looking for. The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? So it's all of the Lord. You think it's just convenience that these people, you understand what you got to do to be a doctor, to work in a science lab? We're talking years upon years upon school. All of a sudden, that person just forgets their safety equipment, right? You just fumble a test tube, right? That's
the animal bites you.
Knocking it out your hand. Right? What you said, brother?
The animal bites you.
Right. That's the most I put it on. And because guess what, man? The animals keep the commandments, man. They don't go against the Lord's charge. The Lord say, bite him now and grind your teeth. It's happening, right? Second Esdras 16 and verse 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings. The beginning of famine and great death. The beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils comes? You pray to the Most High God, right? You repent and keep these commandments, right? Give me verse 19.
That's right. Verse 19, copy.
Right. The water. Right? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. So this is correction, right, for the earth, but this is a sign for us to amend our ways, to change our ways, repent, come back to the Most High God, to your heritage, Israel. It's getting real in the field, man. You know? You keep playing, man. Lord gonna drop AIDS 2 or something. You want to keep fornicating, right? Sleeping with the next man's wife, right? Stealing. There's judgment coming on the earth, man.
I thought God created AIDS to kill all the gays.
Damn.
But listen, man. We know how the Lord feels about sodomy, but it was just like he said, man.
Listen, hold on. What he just said, that's scripture. Let's just show.
Right? It's not wrong.
It's
not wrong.
Let's just see what it says in the scriptures, right?
Right? Look at even just right here. It says famine and plague, their sin is scourges for amendment. Mm-hmm. Right? Our people want to keep falling into homosexual ways. You see how he felt about Sodom.
This is Romans 1:27. And likewise, also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, right, burn in their lust one toward another, man with man, working that which is unseemly, is not right, and receiving in themselves that recompense of the error which was meet. What's that recompense? What Brother Brian just said.
That's it.
The AIDS, the HIV.
Magic Johnson on the low.
You see that?
Right? Let's get to the next article. All right, making good on time. Make sure we get through everything.
Big con on that.
All right, what's the next article? Oh, yes. Get to the Houthi block. Yes, the Houthi blockade. Because it's going down on the earth, man. Got plagues coming up, right? Because remember, we also mentioned, it said famine as well, right? It said famine is one of those plagues. Famine isn't just a scarcity of food. It's food being so high that you can't afford it because of the scarcity of food. They go hand in hand, right? Let's get the article first before we get the script. I got the script.
I think 100 million people died this year or last year from famine. Over 100 million people.
Right. Look at that.
Worldwide.
It's going down. Started like at the 1 minute mark. Actually, just play it. Just play it. I think you got to fast forward just a little bit.
So Yemen have done something absolutely incredible, and they have struck 3 American ships to do that. It truly is. And not only that, but look what happened now. The Yemenis have struck 3 American ships and 2 Israeli ships in the Indian Ocean. I'm not talking about the Arabian Sea now. I'm not talking about the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. I'm not talking about the Red Sea. The Indian Ocean. Do you understand how significant that is? So the ships that thought they could go around, oh no, it's not happening. So again, here's the Arabian Sea, here's the Gulf of Aden, that's the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, and here's the Red Sea. The Yemenis hit ships over here in the Indian Ocean. You have to understand how crazy that is, because it essentially means now that Yemen have, and we already knew this, but nevertheless, they have missile capabilities that are so extensive, literally extensive. They can reach all the way into the Indian Ocean. You know, this is exactly why they were able to win the war against Saudi Arabia and the GCC, which was backed by America, Britain, and so on. It's when they struck Aramco and they struck the UAE. Everyone was like, "What the hell? How did you reach all the way there? How did your drones reach all the way there?" And then they surpassed that even more this time with the blockade. And again, I've told you time and time again, these anti-ship ballistic missiles, you have 30 seconds to react. And this is even when you're on a military ship. And you need to understand that the Americans and Britain, you know, we want to project this image of, oh well, they're just a bunch of Arabs, and we're so much better with our technology. We're so much smarter. We're coming to, you know, protect Western trade, and we're getting made. You know, they're making fools out of us. They're making fools out of us. Britain and America have, you know, now struck Yemen several times. They've struck the international airport. They've struck Hodeidah. They've struck, Aden as well. What did that achieve? They've struck Sana'a. What did that achieve? Nothing. Yemen still have the blockade in place. If you're an Israeli ship, you're getting clapped. But now, I mean, seriously, I can't believe it. I can't believe how crazy this is. This is really, really a blockade.
Right, now pause it right there.
That's only a full.
Now, you guys got to remember, right? So Yemen, right? Zoom in on that map of Saudi Arabia, so we just get the where Yemen is. So Yemen is at the bottom of Saudi Arabia, right? So that blockade is they're blocking the Red Sea, the Gulf of Aden, the Arabian Sea. Now go down, and the Indian Ocean. So what you would do is, can you jump back up to the Red Sea? So traditionally, what you would do is, say if I wanted to trade goods, right? I can go, except I'm America, right? Say if I'm coming from New York, I would send my goods across the Atlantic Ocean, right? Into the Mediterranean Sea, down and around the Red Sea to cut time because it's a straight path. That's being cut. So now, before it was, you go down and around Africa through the Indian Ocean. That's being cut. So you got to understand, you have an enormous amount of goods, right? Because China is the leading exporter of goods and manufacturing. If they continue this blockade, we're going to see, think about it, man. Think about how people react when their Amazon delivery comes a day late. Right? Now imagine your grocery store can't refill on things, right? Everybody remember what 2020 was like when people couldn't get goods, right? People lost their damn minds. So this is showing you, man, things are ramping up in the world. Mm-hmm. Things are ramping. And while we're still on the jump to the, any brother got a precept? Mm-mm. Right, give me, I just got one. Give me Revelation 6 and give me verse 6. Start at verse 5, actually. Start at verse 5. Right? And we had Revelation 6 and verse 5. And we had opened the third seal. I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. Right? We're going to explain it, break it down in the next verse. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, "A wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou not hurt the oil or the wine." So this is talking about famine, right? Because that's where he had the balances, right? So now we're say like today, right? We'll use just so you understand the analogy, because in those days your money was based on weight. So you knew your penny would be brass, and you would weigh it, and you would weigh as much as brass, so you knew how much that was worth. Gold, silver, etc., etc. Right? Say like with milk today, for example, right? You got some places you get a gallon of milk for used to be you get it for like $3, right? Now it's $6, right? $6 turned to $8, $8 turned to $10, right? So we're seeing the so-called white man, right? He got that spirit. Well, guess what? Famine. And famine, that's a spirit on this earth, right? It's going to kick off because the plagues are visiting the earth, right? And what did we read earlier? Plagues are sent from the Lord, the mighty Lord. Mm-hmm. So you need to get right? It's going down soon, right? And your brother got a precept or a point?
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 17. a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Man, the Houthis, they cutting off the trade routes, man. You get your desires to go to this city over here, you know, get your goods off, get your money, you know what I mean? Trade, traffic, right? To be a merchant, to do what you gotta do. But you can't because the Houthis is there holding down, blocking it off like a big dog.
Right, man.
Like a big bully in the hood, man.
Right. And it's not a normal block. And you gotta remember the Houthis, they're using guerrilla warfare, right? It's not like they got a fleet of ships because they're not using traditional warfare tactics. These and you know, and they're being supplied, right? We don't know about who, right? But they're getting advanced weaponry.
I believe by China or North Korea, one of those.
It's one of them, but the enemies of the Western powers, right? It's what you call a proxy war, right? Look up the definition of a proxy war for the nation real quick, right? Because what you have a proxy war is say if I got beef with somebody, right? But if me and him get into beef, say we're two big gangs. If I fight that dude, guess what? It's gonna be a big gang war. So I use someone else. I send a little dog to go after him. So you can't say I did it, right? Proxy war, a war instigated by a major power which does not itself become involved, because you have countries that are a part of NATO, right? And if you fight them, you activate, is it Article 5 or 15?
5.
There you go, Article 5. Well, guess what? You fight one, now you got to fight them all. So you send you do it through your proxy. All right. Let's get to the next. What's the next article?
You know what I be thinking too? I be thinking it's like the WWF. Like these guys are just out there acting like they fighting each other. they just acting like they fighting each other. They really not fighting. They're using it to control. You know what I'm saying? The masses. Like they just use that to control us, to steer us around like sheep.
It's a little bit of both. You know, you know it's funny. Wrestling was a good analogy because you know what, the plot line is fake, but they really wrestling.
That is.
So you got people dying, right? You got Jake's, you know, you got Esau out there with that Captain America spirit, and you just serving because that's all war is. It's about money, right?
Yeah, entertainment. Let's get it.
Right. So now it's going on. What's going on in Sudan? Because remember, we're scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. We got people out there in Sudan as well, right? Famine looms in Sudan as civil war survivors tell of killings and sexual assaults. I don't want to use that word, just
a lot.
Yeah, Sudan's been going to war now for 2 years. It's been probably
I mean, we can show it, but you know, it's just in case we don't get a strike.
I thought it was long.
Yeah, they've been in war for a minute.
Yeah, you know, you have it's like in Sudan, you have different tribes warring against each other and vying for power.
Yep.
Right. So civilians caught in Sudan's civil war have given graphic accounts to the BBC of assault. Right. I'm not going to say the word. Right. Ethnic violence, street executions.
Yeah.
Our journalists have managed to make it to the front line of the fighting close to the capital, Khartoum. Top UN officials have said the conflict has plunged the country into one of the worst humanitarian nightmares in recent history and could trigger the world's largest hunger crisis. So we need to pray for our brothers in there, man. You know, we got our brothers in Haiti going through it. We got our brothers in Sudan going through it, right? You got to understand. And guess what? Soon it's going to be coming here to America. We're not reading these articles for you to, weep tears and be, damn, good thing I'm here. It's coming here too, right? There are also fears that defer in the west of the country, a repeat of what the U.S. called genocide 20 years ago may be beginning to unfold, right? I'm not going to get too deep in this article. Go down a little bit. Mm-hmm. Right? And this is just going to read this one account. Right? You can read this article on your own, right? As if out of nowhere, a huge blast shakes the road in Ardurman. People scream and run in all directions, shouting, go back, there'll be another one. Thick smoke blankets everywhere. Moments earlier, the battered street had been dotted with pedestrians picking up rice, bread, and vegetables from the shops, which had only recently begun to reopen. In mid-February, the Sudanese army retook the city one of three along the River Nile that form Sudan's wider capital, Khartoum. Civilians have now started to return, but mortars, right, those are bombs, like the one that landed in this main street, still fall daily.
Yeah.
Right? So it's going in, right? It's give me second Esdras. Give me second Esdras 15, excuse me, and verse 13.
Yeah, they go hunting every day in Sudan. The military have dropped off weapons to all the citizens at their door. Like, what gun do you want? And all the sons of the house, whatever, all the boys, the men, like we want to call that, you know what I'm saying? They hunt them. And if they don't kill 3 people that day, feel like they didn't get their job done. And it's been happening every day.
And you know what it is? You got to remember too, who's giving? You know, I think about who's giving these people these weapons.
You know who's
funding
the weapon. You know who it is.
Right. Mm-hmm. Your friendly neighborhood.
Can't say it. Don't say it.
Friendly neighborhood Esau. Every time. Every time. Cast the light, and there he is in the shadow.
Just comes knocking at your door. Here, you want this gun? Here you go.
What precept you want, King?
Second Esdras 15, and give me verse 13.
Okay.
Did you see the videos?
Yes, it's tough. It's tough. Right? Second Esdras chapter 15 and verse 13. Yeah. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail with fearful constellations. That's what we just read. They were trying to get food, right? And they have mortars, bombs just dropping on the city, right? Give me the next verse.
Ooh.
Right? Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, right? 15 is the point. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So we're seeing that civil war unbreak, right? And guess what? Civil war is coming to America too, right? That movie is dropping soon, man. They're trying to channel that spirit, gear up the masses.
Who tills the ground? Ain't that biblical? Who tills the ground? Ain't that what's his name? Cain? Esau? What's his name? Cain? The tiller?
Oh no, that's going in that has nothing to do with that. Cain was a tiller of the ground, but that's not what it's talking about. Give me the next article.
Con got precept.
Con.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 5, verse 16. When I, the Most High, shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction. There's reports of nearly 18 million people in Sudan is dying of starvation, in which I shall send to destroy you, and I will increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff with bread, man.
So it's going down.
It's sad, man. It's sad.
Right, send the prayers up for them, for real, man. Right, don't get in that spirit. All those are only Hamites over there when we're scattered all over. Right.
Yeah, you know they're attacking us wherever it's at.
Right. It's the next article.
I got you. Senegal, right?
Yep. Right. And this is just showing, man, this insurrection. Right? People are going against their government again and again and again. Right? Senegal President Macky Sall rejects blame for election chaos. Right? Let's go down. Right? Senegal president has told BBC he does not regret delaying this year's election, a move that has sparked deadly protests. Macky has said he did not make the decision alone. He was responding to concerns raised by Parliament. After a violent backlash, many feared that the relatively stable nation was slipping into political crisis. but the attempt to push the election back by 10 months was blocked by Senegal's top court. Right? So I'm not going to get into this whole thing just for the sake of time, but, just to show you, man, world powers are being shaken, right? And if you're aware of the geopolitical situation in Africa, right, lines are being drawn, right? You're either on the side of the West, right, and NATO, or you're on the side of China and Russia, right? And it's all just a resource grab, right? Who's going to be my leader that's going to make sure I get what I want? Right, that's why you have a big thing in Burkina Faso with Abraham Traore, right? Him rejecting ECOWAS, right? Kicking France out and wanting to start his own gold refinery in Burkina Faso, right? Controlling it himself. This is big. There's a lot of things going on, right? And these things are being engineered by Esau, right? He's famous, right, for sending in the jackals and having political puppets, right? Just for the sake of time, right? Keep anybody got a preset?
Next article.
Yeah, the federal budget, and
I'm gonna save that for when we go with the U.S. dollar.
I can say one thing about. I can say something though real quick. You notice how they push back the election. That could very well happen here. They don't want to see the next president become the president. They might just cause that martial law just so that they can maintain that power.
Right, and that's it, right? And this is and it's funny you say that, man. This is you in the spirit, right? Federal court appeal court order to put controversial Texas immigration law back on hold. So this is what we're seeing. Look at what's going on here in America. We got local government, we got state governments, going against the national government, right? So this is what's going on with our Northern Kingdom brothers, right? A federal, right, Austin, Texas, right? Federal appeals court to Tuesday night again issued a hold on SB4, a Texas law that would authorize state and local police to arrest and even deport people suspected of being in the United States without legal authorization, adding another twist and is what will become a legal roller coaster over state-level immigration policy, right? The 2-1 ruling by the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals came hours after the U.S. Supreme Court paved the way for the controversial state law to take effect Tuesday, allowing Texas authorities to begin enforcing the measure, which was enthusiastically embraced by the state's Republican leadership and denounced by Democratic officials and immigrants' rights activists. So we got the border crisis is still going on, right? They're stopping what's going on there, but at the same time, they could do it and then they can't do it. So we're seeing Esau starting to clash, right? And it's about getting the people hot, right? Once the people, you gotta remember, once Esau get that battery in his back, there's no turning him down, right? He's gonna go in. So keep aware of the situations and keep praying for our brothers and sisters, because guess what? Yes, a large majority of these immigrants are from Ukraine, right? We touched on it before. You got immigrants coming from China, right, and things of that nature, right? But a lot of these people are our people, the Northern Kingdom of Israel, Zebulun, right? Issachar, Asher, Naphtali, right? Levi, right? Southern Kingdom. But you missing that's not the point. These are our people, right? Their nation was destabilized by Esau, right? Through CIA assassinations and CIA-backed coups. So I disrupt your nation. I cripple your economy. I make sure you can't stand on your own legs. I push Christianity on your people and white Jesus. And I tell you, hey, come to America. And then when you come to America, I blast your ass. I beat you. I deport your kids. Right? And we went over it last week. There's a great deal of sex trafficking going on.
Yeah.
So understand this, the reason why the main government, why they're trying to stop Texas, they're like, hold up, let them keep going, Because they messing up the cash cow.
Yeah.
You exposing the ring that's going on. You making it hot.
100,000 children just vanished, and they don't have no record of where they went. 100,000 children.
They would if they were Esau.
Esau talking about, he was getting questioned about it. He's like, I don't know, I have no recollection, or I don't know what's going on. No, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, nope, I don't have no record of this. I don't know. And everyone's like, what happened to the 100,000 children that you had in the camp? Where are they at? 100,000 just vanished. Right. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. And it's wickedness out here. Yep. And this is what our people are subjected to. Right? They're getting stuck in children. You got to understand, these are children being in cages.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then when they have to talk to the officials, right? You're 8 years old, 10 years old, and you have to explain to a judge. You're talking to a judge. You're not old enough to represent yourself. It doesn't help that you already have a language barrier as well. Right? Because how is it you can say, well, they need to follow immigration laws and cooperate with the law? What did Esau do that when they came to Gad? When they came to Zebulon? When they came to the northern kingdom? Did they follow the immigration laws? So how you want stolen land, talking about this is my country, telling other people you can't come here because you didn't follow the rules?
It's really their land.
Right? If you know anything about history, Texas was originally Mexico. It was a part of Mexico, which was brutally taken from them in the Mexican-American War, right? The so-called Remember the Alamo, right? And this is what our northern kingdom of children are going through, man. So we need to send the prayers, right? And it's all for the Lord to gather us all together. Right? If you're wondering why there's such a mass influx of our people coming to this nation, bear with me. Where's that precept? And the Lord saved them from the north country.
You could go to Jeremiah 15, Jeremiah 3.
Right, I know it's in Jeremiah. Either one works. Either one works.
You see that, cuz? Look, that was 10 months ago. 85,000 immigrant children are missing. That was 10 months ago. There's way more than that.
Oh, yeah, it's in the millions, probably. We don't really know the number. Right? Actually, before you get that, actually, we can get it first. You're already right there, right? Jeremiah 3 and verse 18. In those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel. The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom will be reunited. They shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for inheritance unto your fathers. So they're coming so they can repent and be gathered and saved. Right? Because then the Lord say, I will have mercy on who I have mercy on.
Come on.
Right? And harden who I hardeneth. You got to remember, we in the wilderness. You might say, well, they wasn't at camp. They wasn't keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. And they wasn't, but it's not about that. Right? The Lord, they might have been righteous in ways you can't understand. Tribulations you haven't gone through. We have a luxury in America that we can't fathom. We've been too Americanized, right? We live good on the plantation. Right? You so busy eating master's crumbs, you don't see your brother don't even have bread.
Come on.
Right?
Most of our people don't even know that their Northern Kingdom brothers is locked in cages at the border.
Right.
Shoot, man, looks just like a zoo damn near.
Right. And this last precept, just to show you, there are slaves in America. Right? We went over it last week, but I'm gonna give this precept one more time. Right? Give me Revelation 18. And I'm gonna read verse 11, and we could just jump to 13. right? The book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse 11. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. So let's see what's being sold in America, right? And cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. So look at this, man. Just read the top of verse 15. And the merchants of these things were made rich by her, and shall stand afar off for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing. So they're made rich by this, right? You have hotels that are getting money from this, shelters that are getting money from this, transportation services that are getting money from this. Everyone's getting a piece of the action, but the Northern Kingdom. So it's not a thing of looking down on our people and thinking, oh, well, F those spics, and why are they coming to our country? This is not our damn country. This land is not your rest. So don't get caught up on all that political mumbo jumbo, man. These are our people going through tribulation. And guess what? The Lord's going to judge you for having that spirit of hatred, right? So you need to consider that. Let's move to the next article just so we can get through time, right? U.S. tests hypersonic missile from China watchtower, right? From the first time the U.S. has conducted a live fire test of a hypersonic weapon in the Asia Pacific, sending a clear message to China, right? So it's a show of strength, right? A B-52 bomber took off from Guam on Sunday morning before launching the missile dubbed the AGM-1830A air-launched rapid response weapon, right? ARRW. Washington considers the U.S. territory key to rapidly responding to potential Chinese military offensives, such as the invasion of Taiwan, right? The U.S. is trying to make up for lost time in its hypersonic arms race with China, which over the past decade have invested heavily in research and development to build out its hypersonic weapons capability. So U.S. is lacking behind in the U.S. and the hypersonics missile race behind China, Russia, right? The U.S. hasn't really developed one, a successful working one. So guess what? It's of the Most High that you're going to let China have one or Russia have one, because this place has to be destroyed, right? World War III is on the brink, right? Next article, and in case any no brother has any precepts, right? Look at this, right? Jumping back, what's going on in the land. Amalek approves plan to attack Gaza, Rafah, but keeps truce talks alive. So we're gonna approve a plan to kill you, but we'll consider talking.
Read this part.
Right? Nod for long threatened invasion of Rafah home to 1.4 million displaced people comes as Amalek to send team to Qatar. Right? So it's going down, man. Right? Amalek's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has approved plans for an attack on Rafah, where 1.4 million displaced Palestinians have sought shelter, while planning to send a team to further truce talks in Qatar after mocking ceasefire proposal by Hamas as ridiculous. Right? Amalek's allies and critics warned Netanyahu against the invasion of Rafah, fearing mass civilian casualties, but Amalek government claims that the area in southern Gaza is one of the last strongholds of Hamas, which has pledged to eliminate, right? Hopefully the ground invasion of Rafah is just a bluff, so they can use this as leverage to get in something in negotiations. But everything Netanyahu said he will do, he did it. So I assume this is very likely is going to happen. Luciano Zakara of Gulf Studies Center of Qatar University told Al Jazeera of Amalek's mixed messages. So just quick precept, right? Give me Psalms. What Psalm I want? Is it 50? Is it 64? I believe no, it's 55. There it is, 55. Give me Psalms 55 and verse 20 and 21. You can't trust Amalek. You can't trust Esau.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He have Psalms chapter 55, verse 20. He have put forth his hands against such that be at peace with him. He have broken his covenant. Right? You can't trust. They're covenant breakers, deal breakers. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. You know what's powerful about that? You put oil on your sword to keep it sharp. So they were always ready for war. Always ready. It's not about keeping peace. They want to decimate and destroy those people, right? Because the key is they want to build that third temple. That's what they want to build.
Khan, you want to go into the third temple, or you want to talk about the ceasefire?
Let's keep going on the ceasefire, and then we're going to jump on the third temple, right? Let's get one more article, right? UN fails to adopt U.S. resolution calling for immediate ceasefire in Gaza. This is of the Lord, man. The United States ended decades of stalwart support for Amalek and United States and the United Nations, Security Council on Thursday, submitting a draft resolution that calls for an immediate ceasefire between Amalek and Hamas in Gaza. But the UN Security Council failed to adopt the resolution in a Friday morning vote, with Algeria, China, and Russia voting against the measure. Linda Thomas Greenfield, U.S. ambassador to the UN, sharply criticized the vetoes from China and Russia, noting that those countries have not condemned Hamas for its October 7 attacks on Amalek. Once again, Russia puts politics over progress. It was not immediately clear whether, if, or when another vote would take place. France said it would work on drafting its own ceasefire resolution after the U.S. one failed. So it's of the Lord for this to happen, man. It's of the Lord. We read it almost every time, right? In Amos, the Lord is going to set a fire on Gaza, right? He's going to set a fire on Gaza. And it's because they've said, right? Go to the next article.
Into that third temple.
The 5 red heifers
yes.
are.
So just so you understand, you might wonder, why is it that they keep going over there, right, and doing what they're doing? They want to build the third temple. You have the Dome of the Rock, right? The Al-Aqsa Mosque, right? Where the Temple Mount that Solomon had, that Herod had, right? The Arabs, right? The Ishmael, the Muslims, where they have their mosque. Mm-hmm. So they want to destroy that and rebuild the so-called third temple with their own hands, right? To establish the vision of a so-called greater Israel. Mm. Right? They want to be in the seat of God and fully convince the people, we are the people, we belong in this land, right? Play the video. We're gonna grab the precepts.
Are now in a secure, undisclosed location in Israel. Plans include moving them sometime soon to a visitor center in Shiloh, where the tabernacle of the Lord once stood for nearly 400 years. The book of Numbers explains that ashes of the red heifer are used to purify priests for their service in the temple. These red heifers are now between 1.5 to 2 years old. To replicate the ceremony mentioned in the Bible, they need to be at least 3 years old. And within that time span, they cannot have a blemish or anything that would disqualify them for the ceremony, even one white or black hair. Byron Stinson of Bonney, Israel, helped find the red heifers in the U.S. He says these would be the first in 2,000 years, and that the process toward a third Jewish temple began when the Jewish people started their return to the Promised Land from the four corners of the world, culminating with Israel becoming a nation. The 5 red heifers are now in a secure, undisclosed location in Israel. Plans include moving them sometime soon to a visitor's center in Shiloh, where the tabernacle of the Lord once stood for nearly 400 years. The book of Numbers explains that ashes of the red heifer.
Right? Go to the, I believe there's a following article, or it's a website.
I got you. Yeah, it's gotcha.
Right, get the should be an article.
This one?
Yep. Right. Holy cow! Can one red heifer herald the third temple and the end of the world as we know it? Right. Scroll down. The days of the third temple are apparently upon us. Why? It's all thanks to a cow. In the Bible, red heifers feature heavily in temple law. The cows must be pure red, without even 2 hairs of another color, and without any other form of blemish. They're essentially parts of sacrificial purity laws. Their ashes are required, according to the passage in Number, to purify the temple's priests and altars. But these laws have been irrelevant. After all, there haven't been a temple in well over a millennia in which slaughtered cows. Some religious stories, however, say that before the temple was built, heralding, the Masonic era long prayed for by both Jews and Christians, a pure red heifer will be sacrificed again. Because you have dumb Christians who think if they're not in the land, they won't Christ won't return, right? Yahushua won't come back unless they get the land, right? But they're being spoon-fed idiocracy, right? Is there more on this?
Let me see.
I don't believe so. Right? This is all I want right here, right?
I got the other
right, you got to load it up, the water. Right? In Judaism, this era is prophesied to mean the coming of a time that includes the return of biblical laws of purity, allowing for a truly holy life. For evangelical Christians, it would herald the end times, the return of Jesus to earth, and the rapture. This belief has long driven Christian Zionism and Christian lobbying on behalf of Amalek. So these people are fully biting the cheese, man. Fully biting the cheese. Load up the next thing. We're about to cut this down, man. This is madness. There's some of our people caught up in this foolishness. You are the Jews of the Bible. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You make up the 12 tribes of Israel. You are the northern kingdom, the southern kingdom. We are the third temple.
It sounds like they trying to bring back the Antichrist, not Christ.
He's already here.
I know.
They trying to establish the vision. Hold on, we about to get into these precepts, man. You in the spirit. This definitely anti-Christ behavior.
It's sad early.
Right? You got that?
It's not popping up.
It's not loaded?
Nah. We got Zay on the stage.
Khan, shalom.
Shabarakatah.
Yeah, watching y'all Shabarakatah, King.
All right, we can get into these precepts real quick, right? Give me Daniel 11 and verse 14. Daniel 11 and verse 14. Right? Because they're trying to establish the vision. Right? And in those times, there shall be many that stand against the king of the south. Right? In context, this is Egypt. Right? Also, the robbers of thy people. Right? Because this is talking about the Greeks. Right? The Seleucians. Right? Also, the robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish the vision, but they shall fall. So this is not going to work. Right? The Lord is not behind this thing. Right? Give me 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 in verse 4. Right? They've always been covetous of us. You got to remember, Amalek, right? Esau, Edom was south of Judah. Right? So they always were looking at us just envious, twiddling their fingers. I can't stand these niggas. They got the, oh man, if only Esau never sold his birthright. Right?
You know what kills me is,
wait, hold on. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 4. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. So this is all about them just trying to act like they are the people, trying to paint a false image. This wickedness is blasphemy. Right? You got something, brother?
Yeah, I just, a little controversy. Yeah, not too much, but like where is the first man from? Where is the first man from again? They teach you that in school. I guess it's called Africa. You know what I'm saying? So man is the human without the hue. So where is Esau from again? Where was Esau born? In Africa, right?
Right, in Israel.
All right, so if Esau was born over there, I mean, the Africano, Esau, the man, it's just like it boggles my mind how we identify as Africans. I don't understand that. And Africa was named after a whole white man. Like they really got us so lost that we don't know our own identity. A lot of people don't know it. You got to be careful with that, man. Like how over in Israel right now, they're trying to play out the role that they are the Jews and that their savior is coming for them. That's all devilish foolery, whatever you want to call it, ways of thinking. That's their idolatry right there. So I don't know, man. Like I just feel like we're brainwashed into staring. The minute that we all come back to God, the minute He's gonna come back and save us, but they're just ruining everything right now.
But this is that spirit of Antichrist, right?
Yeah,
it's that spirit of Antichrist.
Well, the most powerful man in America is a man by the
Which, for the sake of time, right, we're gonna keep it rolling, right? The next article, we got too much time. Let's touch on the U.S. dollar.
You want me to go congressional leader strike deal?
Yes.
You sure?
Yeah, go with that.
All right. Then we can move on to the dollar. I mean, it's the same thing. It's guarded on the same thing.
Right. Kill this last topic. Right. So this is going on right now, right? Congressional leaders strike deal on final spending bill before shutdown. So for how long have we kept hearing about government shutdown? They need to get the money together. This is a giant America is just like one giant corporation, right? And it's about to go bankrupt, right? I read something today. It said the U.S. debt goes up $1 trillion every 100 days.
It's a fact.
Every 100 days, America goes $1 trillion more into debt. How does that create a functioning company, a functioning nation? Right? Zoom in.
Sure. It's not working again.
The devil.
All right, here we go.
There you go. Right? Numbers 23 and 23. No enchantment works against the sons of Israel. Right? Right? Washington congressional leaders said Tuesday morning that they had reached an agreement on the final package of spending legislation to fund the federal government through the fall, though it was unclear whether they should be able to pass it in time to avert a brief partial shutdown over the weekend. House Republicans, Senate Democrats, and the White House have been at loggerheads over funding levels for the Department of Homeland Security. For days, they have been litigating disagreements that threaten to imperil the spending package that also funds the Pentagon, the State Department, and other agencies. So you got to remember, you have things like people in the military, people with living on Social Security, right? All state-run departments, right? People are going to be compensated. People are going to be out and about, right? They are facing a midnight Friday deadline to pass the measure and avert a lapse in funding, right? That's what I really want on that. Go to the video.
Where do they get the money from to fund anything?
They print it. They print it.
I would think they borrow it from China.
bonds. Now, so what it? We'll get into it later. Hold on, just so we get into the
man by the name of Jerome Powell. He's an unelected central banker, and he just spoke yesterday about what the Fed intends to do, either get us out of a recession or put us right in the middle of one.
Inflation has eased substantially, while the labor market has remained strong, and that is very good news. But inflation is still too high.
So on those words, gold skyrocketed to an all-time high. And last night, the stock market also hit new highs across the board. Rally was the name of the day. So what's really going on here? Kevin Demerit is the CEO of Lear Capital. We'd like to check in with Kevin every few months to see what's going on in this economy. Kevin, good to see you.
Good to be back, Clayton.
So an interesting day, because I feel like we're in the moment really of have and have nots right now. You have a lot of people saying, I can't rub two pennies together right now. Can't rub two nickels together right now to be able to afford my rent. My grocery bills are going up. I'm paying more for just about everything. Jerome Powell yesterday admitting basically that inflation targets of 2% not going to happen. We're going to throw in the towel in on that. It's going to be higher. But yet we're hearing from the Biden administration that this is a booming economy, that everything is great. So there really seems to be a total disconnect here. What did you make of Powell's comments yesterday?
First off, if you haven't made money with AI yet, don't
worry. Wow.
AI is the biggest.
I love a good ad.
Well, I think he's absolutely on track as far as you're probably going to have to lower interest rates sooner rather than later. So I think he's predicting 3 decreases in interest rates. He sees a recession coming, and so do a lot of billionaires and the people that I'm speaking to. There is a recession coming. If you look at the statistics and the indicators that usually will tell you if a recession is coming, like an inverted yield curve with a 100% track record of being correct, there's a recession.
But you see, top billionaires in economics, they see this country is on an economic, it's just going downhill, right? Money isn't worth anything. And to answer the brother Brian's question and just edify the nation, what you have is U.S., the dollar bill, right? When you print it, right, that's printing a bond, right? But the more money you print, the less value it becomes. And you have other countries like China, Russia, and all these other countries, they're selling off their U.S. debt, right? They're not trying to use U.S. bonds anymore. They're using their own currency, right? They don't care about the petrodollar anymore. That's why these BRICS nations are coming more and more in power. But the more debt that America owns of its own, the more bond usage that America uses. When the country falls, America is going to take the full brunt of it. And we, the people, are going to suffer. And it's going to be hell in this country. It's going to be the wild, wild west, right? Read this. No soft landing, meaning there's not going to be a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow. The U.S. economy is going to fall into recession in the middle of 2024. City's chief economist says, excuse me, Israel. Right? Go down.
You want to read it? Come on.
Nah, that's actually it. That's all we need on that. Right? But look at this. Let's go to the PowerPoint, the bullet points. Go to the bullet points, right? Read the quick bullet points. Right? The U.S. economy is headed for a recession in the middle of 2024, City's chief U.S. economics said. The economic data seems strong, but is hinting at signs of decline as seen in latest jobs report. Credit card delinquency rates are also on the rise. Retail sales data have shown a drop in activity. People don't have money to pay off their credit cards, right? You're not trying to buy clothes if you can't eat. You're not trying to get, it's not time to get fresh, it's time to eat. Can't feed your family. You can't eat a damn Nike.
Right.
Right.
Food goes to the highest bidder. Right now, we were the highest bidder at one point, but we ran out of money. So now guess what happens to the food? It goes to the next highest bidder. You know, that's what they're doing. They're just passing it around. That's what that black horse is about. All them third world countries that we done killed or sacrificed 100 million of our own brothers. Now we gotta get sacrificed, and then it's gonna go on to the next country. We're about to run out of money, so who's gonna buy the food? That's what it comes down to. That's what inflation is about. The food goes to the highest bidder. We don't have no more money to bid any higher.
Right. The book of Genesis, chapter 47, verse 17. And when the money failed in the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth.
Ain't nothing new under the sun. We in spiritual Egypt.
Right? We in spiritual Egypt. Right? Give me one more. We about to wrap it up soon.
So basically, this is gonna happen. Like with this money failing, the recession is gonna come. Like all the minor, smaller banks, they're gonna just flat out just be done. And all the bigger banks, major banks, they're just gonna take them over. Boom, and it's gonna usher in the what is it called? The CDC. I'm saying it right?
Yeah, Yeah, pretty much. That's where you're gonna see your digital money, digital currency.
Yeah.
Right, because the money's gonna be useless. The only way to combat against these other nations, they're gonna have their money backed in gold and precious metals.
Right. So gold, silver, and real estate is gonna be the top commodities real soon.
Right. Give me 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 12. Right, because we're in spiritual Egypt. We are in a spiritual Egypt. Here's what the Lord said: Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yahweh shall bring upon it. So guess what, man? There's gonna be intense punishment. There's gonna be this judgment coming to this land. Right now, we're seeing the setup. We're seeing the setup, right? The legs are being taken out, but the chair hasn't fallen yet. So we need to prepare ourselves spiritually. That's what we need to do, because you know what? The Lord said, the Lord's going to feed his servants. The Lord's going to protect his people. The question is, are you going to be part of his people? Are you going to be part of the world?
Sure.
Right. Give me Sirach chapter 2 and verse 10. Give me Sirach chapter 2 and verse 10. Because if you're leaning on the Most High God, if you're leaning on the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, you're going to make it. Right. The book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and verse 10. Look at the generations of old and see. Did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he despise that called upon him? right? So the Lord's he's gonna see you through these things, right? There's no confusion when it comes to serving the Lord. So this is why we need to stop being double-minded. You need to stop thinking, oh, well, you know, I don't know, you in and out, you playing damn double dutch with the Lord. And that's not the way to go. Because you know what? The Lord's gonna let you fall into your lust. You're not gonna get delivered out of this thing, right? Give me verse, same chapter. Give me verse 12. Give me verse 12. Right? The book of Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 12. Woe be to fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth 2 ways. Because there's no, oh, I'm gonna do a little bit of sin, and then I'm gonna just give alms, and alms covereth all sins. You know, you smoking weed, and then you know you think you're gonna rebuke brothers. There's no going 2 ways. There's no, oh, I'm gonna cheat on my wife, and then I'm gonna go tell brothers about adultery. There's no going 2 ways. There's no having faint hands, no having being scared. We need to stop being double-minded Israelites, right? And it goes for all Israel, myself as well. We need to be steadfast and strong in this thing, right? This is not, yes, it's good to dwell in brotherly unity, but this is not a place. This is not a club. This is about being delivered. And if you're going to make it into the book of life, right? Any brothers got any closing precepts?
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 10. Therefore, fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee. You see that? The Lord is going to save us, right? From afar in thy seed, from the land of thy captivity. We're in captivity where the dollar is about to fail, man. We're in captivity where the famine is about to happen. We're in captivity where it's about to be massive violence, right? Read on. And Jacob shall return, it shall be in rest. We're not in rest in America. You think you have rest because you got your nice little king-size bed. It's comfy. You got your 55-inch TV. You got your blunt rolled up. You got your Henny on the rocks. No, we not at rest. And be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. Man, ain't no government, no martial law gonna make us afraid. I got one more, King, if you ain't.
You got it.
All right. Just the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6, right? And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? See that ye be not troubled. And that's the point I want. Don't be troubled, man. I know we talk about Jacob's trouble, but in this time of Jacob's trouble, we should be rejoicing. We should be happy that these things is happening because we know that the time of our captivity is over. The time of all the oppression is almost over. We should be smiling. We should be rejoicing.
Right. I got one more precept.
Bring it out.
Right. Just give me Luke chapter 21 and verse 19. Luke chapter 21 and verse 19. Right. Luke chapter 21 and verse 19. In your patience possess ye your souls. So we got to patiently endure all these things. Because guess what? If you get impatient, if you start to say, well, you know, I don't think Yahweh Shai is coming for, but you try to put a timestamp on it. I can go off for just a little bit. Guess what? Now you blotted out the book. Right? You that brother during the affliction, you know, brothers is fasting and praying, and you got a secret stash of muffin. Right? You sell out the brothers because you couldn't withstand the hunger. right? In your patience possess ye your souls, right? Last one, so give me
for you, Joel chapter 2, verse 16. Gather the people, sanctify the congregation, assemble the elders, gather the children, and those that suck the breast, let the bridegroom go forth of his chamber, and the bride of her closet. And that's what we got to do. What Zephaniah say? Gather yourselves together,
right?
Whom ye should not desire, right? Next verse 17. Let the priests, the ministers of Yahweh, weep between the porch and the altar, and let them say, spare thy people, O Yahweh, and give not thy heritage to reproach, that the heathen should rule over them. Wherefore should they say among the people, where is their God? Right? That's what we need to do in these last days, right? Is to gather ourselves together, call upon a fast, right? And just be there for each other in these last days, because it's us against the world, man. We all we got.
You want to go? Can I pull a precept? You want to go to Psalms chapter 141, verse 5 for me?
Come on.
Let's see if I get this right.
141?
141, verse 5.
Okay. Let the righteous smite me.
Bring it up.
Right, it's the book of Psalms, chapter 141 and verse 5. Let the righteous smite me, and it shall be a kindness. Let him reprove me, and it shall be an excellent oil, which shall not break my head, for yet my prayer shall also be in their calamities.
Yeah, how can you take what the brothers are saying the wrong way? How could you take offense to being corrected by your own brother? That's that I call that love. You can call it tough love, you can call it kindness, whatever the case may be, but at least the brothers is putting you on, getting you ready so that you can survive and endure until the end.
Right.
So I could never take anything that you say to me personally or to any. I don't think anybody should ever take it personally. If you're being double-minded, check yourself. Because like the brother God said, I do it all the time. I do it all the time too. And sometimes I do it on purpose.
That's what I want to hear. I do it all the time myself. Everybody act like they're saints, but go ahead.
Come on. Yeah, I got a precept. Jeremiah 14, verse 12. When they fast, and I brought this precept out because we need to be fasting more than ever in these last days, right? Because Christ is not here on the earth with us, man. We can't just go up to Christ and be like, yo, we need this, bro. We need this, master. No. I will not hear their cry. And when they offer burnt offering in an oblation, I will not accept them, right? Now, today our offering is praying, fasting, giving alms, right? Praising him, right? But I will consume them by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence. And we know that these three things is going to be at an all-time high in these last days because of this wicked red boy Esau.
Wicked Edomite.
Sheesh. Jared, Rob, it's on you, King.
Right. Final precept, right? Just we touching on things that's gonna happen. Give me second Esdras 16. Second Esdras 16. It's gonna be the final one. Give me verse 74. I actually started verse 73. I'm gonna read down to 76.
Nah, just read the whole thing.
Right. The book is second Esdras chapter 16 and verse 73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen. They shall be tried as gold in the fire. So we're gonna go through afflictions, right? And these afflictions are to purify you like gold. Right? Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for God is your God, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord God. Let not your sins weigh you down. Let not your iniquities lift themselves up. So you need to, if you're sinning, neither just leave off your sins. Repent, therefore, and be converted. Right? Verse 77. Woe be unto them that are bound in their sins and covered with their iniquities, like as a field covered over with bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns, that no man may travel through. It is left undressed, and is cast into the fire to be consumed therewith. And that's spiritual. That's talking about the second death. So you keep playing with your sins, you keep playing with the Most High God, keep dabbling with your sins, you're going to get overtaken, you're going to be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's it. Thus saith the Lord, thus saith this holy Bible, man. All right, with that, we're going to wrap up. We're going to close out, giving all honor, all praises, all glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, and his son, Yahweh Shah, the Most High God of Israel, right? And his son, who you know is Jesus the Christ. Shalom, Israel. Hopefully you are edified.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, King.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.